Hello and welcome to the course of Microsoft Office. My name is Mohammad Usaid Koti and I'm a full-time faculty with the Management Institute under Mumbai University. I have a graduation in Masters of Management Studies under System and I'm pursuing my PhD in online marketing for search engine optimization. I am a Green Belt Six Sigma holder from Benchmark Institute and I am in this domain since last 11 years. I would be taking you through a course which is for Microsoft Office and I would be covering three topics, in fact three applications: Word, PowerPoint and Excel. Before I proceed with the other applications, let me just give you a brief about Microsoft Office. Microsoft Office, sometimes also referred as Office, is a family of client software and services developed by Microsoft Corporation. It was announced for the first time by Bill Gates in the year 1988. Initially, the applications under Microsoft Office were just simply named as Word, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft PowerPoint. Now they are called as Office Suite. Over the years, Office applications have grown substantially, and there are many more applications which have been included as a part of Microsoft Office Suite. Microsoft Office at the initial stage was only for Windows, but they also developed the same application for Mac operating users. Basically, we will be talking about three applications under Office, namely Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. The first version of Microsoft Word was released in the year 1983 and was for MS DOS. DOS is DOS, stands for Disk Operating System. And later on in the year 85, it was released for Macintosh. Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet editor, and Microsoft PowerPoint is a PowerPoint presentation used to create slideshows, which can be a combination of text, graphics, and other objects. Let us move on to Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word is an application which is for the purpose of creating documents like letters, invitations, books, journals, thesis, college projects, etc. And it is used for business and personal purposes both. For example, you want to create a business document using graphs, pictures, charts, and diagrams. You can use to store and reuse ready-made content. You can format such as cover pages, sidebars, letters, letterheads, different documents such as resumes, invitation cards, a range of correspondence from a simple office memo to legal copies and reference documents. In terms of the prerequisites for this, you just need to have a basic understanding of your computer and the peripherals like mouse, screen, keyboard, monitor, and the basic operations. And I'm 100% sure that the generation right now is much more advanced than the older generations. You are clearly aware of the keyboard, the screen, the mouse, the different buttons on keyboard, how to use mouse, etc. I have been teaching this subject since last 11 years, and I am also 100% sure that till date I am not aware about the 100% options available in the application. But I know majority of the options which are used and how they could be used and the right way to use those options. And I would be trying my level best in order to inform you, teach you, and let you know the correct and proper way to use these options. The flow of my teaching over the next videos would be first, I would be taking you through Microsoft Word, then PowerPoint, and then Excel. Simultaneously, I would also be teaching you how to use these three applications by integrating with each other. Let us begin with Microsoft Word first. In the course of my sessions, I would be sometime using the term as Microsoft Word, sometimes Word, sometimes as document. These terms simply means I am talking about an application called as Microsoft Word. In the current screen, you can see my name and my email ID. In case of any issue, any doubt, any query, you can always get in touch with me on this email ID. I will be reverting to everyone's query. The only thing is that I might sometime take time to revert, but I would revert for sure. So you can any point in time compose an email, send me the email with your query. I would be happy to solve any of the issues regarding the same. Let us move on to what I would be covering in Microsoft Word. The first thing that I would be covering under Microsoft Word is that how to use shortcuts, and the basic shortcuts I would be teaching you, and I would request you to please remember the shortcuts in order to ensure that while you work on any of these applications, the time taken by you is minimized, the efficiency is improved. This simply means that if you know the shortcuts, not all of them, but most of them, you would find it easy and you would love and enjoy to work on any applications. Because using shortcuts makes your life easy, it minimizes your time, it minimizes the effort. So in this first Microsoft Basics, I would be teaching you the shortcuts, basic movement of the cursor in your document. This first session would be across a couple of videos. What are page sizes? Different types of layout in a document, the margins used in a document, etc. In the second, I would be teaching you how to copy, cut, paste, edit, delete text, special characters, grammars, spell checks in a document. Then, how do we format text, change the font style, the size, the cases, alignment, spacing, etc., all these things. Then we would be moving forward with formatting of paragraphs and lines. It is important to note the difference between paragraphs and lines. I would be covering everything in detail as we move ahead in the course. Then the next is about borders and shadings. How would we use borders, the alignment of borders, border width. The borders are for pages, they are for texts, they are for paragraphs, they are for pictures, tables, etc. The next agenda under Microsoft Word is about tabs and indentations. Normally, what people do is that they don't use tabs and indent settings the way it must be used. If you use these tabs and indentations, you would observe that the formatting of your document is so good that it appeals to the audience who looks at it. The seventh agenda is applying formatting. Formatting is not only in terms of color or style or the size of the text, but formatting means there has to be some uniformity, plus the look and feel of the document should be as per the requirement. Then we move on to page settings, which is headers, footers, different types of breaks which are there in a document, plus numbering of the document, etc. Then the younger generation loves to use images and pictures, pictorial representation of a document, sometimes also called as visualization. Autocorrect, which is the grammar, your normal spelling, sentences, all those things. Then we have styles. In your styles, this is my most favorite option in Microsoft Word. You will realize that if you use this option in the right way, you will find that your love for the application is increasing day by day and moment by moment. Then we move on to table of contents. This I will let you know as we move to this topic. Okay. Now I would be moving to Microsoft Word application and then we would learn about the same thing. I have launched Microsoft Word application, and when you launch the 2016 version or the later one, you would see this screen appearing on your monitor. On the left hand side, you would see the recent documents which are there, and you would see two icons here, which are blank document and some templates. So I just click on this blank document and I open this page. When you open this page, you would see the screen and this white portion. The white portion is your page. In this white portion, you can write, you can type, you can insert text and pictures, whatever you need. Before moving ahead, I would just take you through the user interface of this Word application. This portion on top is called as ribbon. RIBBON. It's called as ribbon. Within ribbon, you have file, you have home, insert, design, etc. They are called as tabs. So one tab is file, one tab is home, insert, then design, and till view you would be looking. You would not be seeing developer and Acrobat because these are extra add-ins which we always insert. By default, all these tabs would be appearing. And we are always by default launched onto the home tab. Within every home tab, we have groups. Under home tab, for example, we have a group called as clipboard. Then we have a group called as font. We have a group called as paragraphs. All these groups are divided by these vertical lines. So we have clipboard, font, paragraph, styles. I would request you to remember these groups under these tabs because while we proceed ahead with the session, I would be telling you to practice along with me and I would be using the words like insert, tab, we go to a grouping called as header footer. Under header footer, we would be using an icon called so and so. If you remember these things, it might take time to remember all tabs, all the groupings, but please do remember that these are called as tabs and these are called as groupings. Under groups, we then have different types of button. For example, we have button under the font grouping B, I, and U. These are called as toggle buttons, which is TOGGLE. Toggle button simply means you click on this, it will activate the command. You again click on this, it will deactivate the command. Then we have something called as drop downs. When you click on these arrows, it will give you the list of these drop downs. Similarly, we have other buttons. You have to click on this to give a command. You have to click on this to give a command. Then we have different types of buttons called as checkboxes. You check on this, something will disappear or appear. You want to make it appear, you click on this again. Then here on top center, you will see the name of the file, which is document1. This is called as your title bar. On the left hand side, you can see these three icons with the drop down. They're called as quick access toolbar. Next to every type of grouping, you would see a small button which is called as a dialog box launcher. For this clipboard option, you can see only four options are there. You click on the dialog box launcher, you would be looking something else appearing. Under the font grouping, I click on the dialog box launcher. It will open a dialog box where many more options are available. Similarly, under the paragraph dialog box option, you click here, you will be seeing many more options available here. Next, on the bottom of the screen, right hand side, you would be looking at the zoom panel. Minus sign, zoom out, you are going away from the screen. Zoom in, appearing near to the screen. You can use zoom in and zoom out by clicking on this vertical bar, right hand side, left hand side, click and drag it. Or you can simply click on this number on the extreme bottom right hand side. It will open a dialog box and you can select which zoom percentage you need. For example, right now we are at 100%. If I click on 200%, I click OK, it will then again zoom in. I come back here, I click on 100%, you can see the preview here. If I click on page width means what? It will zoom according to the width of the page. You can see it starts from left till right hand side. You can see the width of the page. I again click on the zoom level, whole page, which means vertical to bottom. Everything would be seen. Zoom level again, I click on text width. It depends on the text in that page. Many pages, you want to see more pages at a time. You can see with this option. I would not click on this right now. I'll just click on normal page width, normal 100%, and then click OK. I will be telling you how to use this when we insert some text and do some text formatting. Then on the left hand side bottom of the screen, you can see the status. This is called a status bar. Status bar includes page 1 of 1. Page 1 of 1 This page 1 means I am on the first page of the document. The second one indicates total number of pages in that document. Then number of words currently in the document. Right now there are 0 because we have inserted no text. The language which we are using, the default language for grammar of the content of the document is English. I will be telling you insert and there's no macros later on. After this, we move on to this ruler. This portion, this white portion on top of the screen, if you can see the cursor with these gray portion, they are called as ruler. So you can see ruler at two places, top and then left hand side. This is horizontal ruler and this is vertical ruler. So please remember, ruler is what? Horizontal and vertical. So when I ask you to click somewhere, it would be horizontal ruler, white portion, and vertical ruler, white portion. Right now, if you're not able to see a ruler in your screen, you can activate it. How do we activate? We go to the tab called as View. Under View tab, Show Grouping is there. In that Show Grouping, you have to click on this ruler icon. Right now, for me, it is check mark. If you are not able to view it, it would be unchecked. You have to click on it, check it. Suppose if I uncheck it, ruler will disappear. If I click on this, it will again appear. I again click on Home tab. Now, we move on to the next type of view. In how many ways can we view our document? When I say view, the layout of the page which is seen right now on your screen. To do this, what we do, we go to a View tab. In this View tab, on the extreme left hand side, you can see Views grouping. Under Views grouping, Read mode, Print layout, Web layout, Outline, and Draft. By default, it is always print layout. You want to change into the type of reading mode, we click on Read mode. You will see the screen here. Under Read mode, what happens? I'll just give you a small example. If I have a text type here and I click on Read mode, you can see one page here, the other page here, third page here. It will be side by side just for the sake of reading. Then we have web layout, this like a normal HTML web page. Then we have an outline view where you can see outline. In term, every paragraph is like a bullet mark here. You want to move away from here. On this bottom screen, left hand side, just next to zoom, you can see 1, 2, 3 icons. The first one is called as read mode, second is print layout, third is web layout. You can just click on print layout, it will come back to this. I urge everyone to do their documentation, typing, everything, formatting, only in print layout. Simple reason, in print layout, you would be looking at the document as it would be printed. In the other layouts, read mode or web layout, you are just able to read the document and view it on your screen. But print layout, as the name suggests, print, it would be the same as the output on a hard copy. So you can either go to View tab, you can change the views from here, or you can just simply click on any of these icons. These icons appear on your status bar. Similarly, on the right hand side, you can see scroll bar up. You just click and drag it down, or you can simply use your mouse up, scroll up, or scroll down. So these layouts, when we talk about this, your default is print layout, and in print layout, it will display exactly as it would be printed on a paper. Web layout, it will show you how a document appears when viewed on a web browser such as Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, or any other application. In the outline view, it will let you work with outlines established using Word's standard headline styles. And in your draft view, this formats text as it appears on the printed page with a few exceptions. For example, header and footers will not be shown. And when just normally typing in a document, people prefer to use this draft view mode. Otherwise, when you work, we work only on print layout. Now, if you see at the screen right now, you would see the text appearing from here and ending here. This is called as a document area, within which your text would appear. Now you look at this page, and right now I would be teaching you different types of page layout. I would first zoom out here. In this zoom out option, you can see the whole page appearing. And if you observe right now, you can see the height of the page is more than the width of the page. When height of the page is more than the width of the page, the layout type is called as portrait. It's called as a portrait view. How do we come to know about this? We go to the layout tab. Under this layout tab, we click on the option called as orientation. So we have only two types of orientation, portrait and layout. If I go to orientation, I click on landscape, it changes. In this way, it just turns 90 degrees and your height becomes smaller as compared to your width. Only the orientation changes, but not the text style. I again go to orientation, I click on portrait. So there are two orientations, portrait and landscape. It depends upon the requirement of the document that we use portrait or landscape. After this, we go to this page setup under layout tab, page setup grouping, and I click on dialog box launcher of page setup. In this dialog box launcher, you will see three tabs appearing: margins, paper, and layout. Under margins, you've got top, bottom, left, and right. What are these margins? These margins are the space from the top edge of the page till here. If you observe, I type something here. My text is appearing from here. This is the space left blank. So this is called as a margin given for my page. Right now my margin from top edge of the page till here is 1 inches. So if you see here, it is 1 and double quote inches. From left edge till here, it is again 1 inches. From right edge till here, where my text will end, is again 1 inch. And similarly, from the bottom of here is 1 inch. So this gray portion on the ruler, either on the left hand side bottom or top bottom or top left or top right, indicates the space of the margin within which my content would be typed or inserted. So I can change my page margin either by going to this option, dialog box launcher, under margin, or you can even change it from here. By default, there was some template, or you click on custom margin, you can see this dialog box launcher appearing. Similarly, I click on this dialog box launcher. Whatever option I can see here under this layout tab and here, those same options also appear in this dialog box launcher, plus some extra options are there. So we know what is top, what is bottom, what is left, what is right. Gutter and gutter position, please listen to me right now carefully. What does this mean? This is also very important. When we compose a document and we need to print the document only on one side of the page, which means not on both sides of the page, only on one side. There is no point in using the gutter or gutter position option. This gutter and gutter position option is used when we compose a document like a book, manual, where on both sides we need to print it. Whenever we see any textbooks of yours, you will see that there would be a binding done on the left hand side of the page, and you would see on both sides of the page the content is printed. So when we do binding for any book, we observe that it consumes some space on the left hand side of the book. After it consumes some space on the left hand side of the page, again some margin is given so that there would be a gap between the edge and the content, and when you open the book, it is read easily. Now, if we are composing a book and we want to print on both sides, we use a gutter position. That means if I say my gutter value is 0.25 inches and my gutter position is left, my margin on the left hand side would be 1 inches and plus 0.25, which would be 1.25. When I open the book and you see the text, you would be looking at the center portion where the binding is there, and the page which is on the left hand side, the gutter would be on the right hand side. The page which is on the left hand side, the gutter would be on the left hand side, so that the alignment of the text is central when it is printed on both sides of the page. The orientation here is portrait and landscape. I've explained it to you. This portion I would tell you when we move on ahead. After this, we move on to the next tab in this same page setup, which is your paper. Paper size, by default, it is given here letter. Letter is the name of the paper size, and the size of that paper is 8.5 inches width and 11 inches height. Similarly, I have legal. Width is 8.5 inches, height is 14 inches. We also have executive. They have different size. We have A4, 8.27 inches, 11.69 inches. In the Indian context, mostly in corporates, we use A4 paper size. And why do we have these options? Because when we need to print it, the first reason is that there are default sizes, paper sizes available. So we have letter size available, we have A4 size available, we have legal size available, B5 available, A3 available. So it is a sequence, just a name, a nomenclature given to different sizes of the paper. If you come down, you would see A4, A5, and also you would see A3, A2. A4 size is half of A3, A3 is half of A2, A2 is half of A1. These are different sizes. You want to create your own size, you can just type some value here, and when you do this, a random selection would give you a custom size. But we would be working with size called as A4. Margins, we would be doing portrait, size is A4. Again, I will tell you this. This is for printing purposes. We will do it later on. Then we move on to layout. In layout, we have these options. Just look at this tab. I would not be explaining you right now. When we move on to sections and headers and footers, I would be explaining you all these things. So I click OK. You would see my paper size changes to A4. We can go to the same option by double clicking on the white space on this left hand side vertical ruler. I repeat again, double clicking on this white space on the left hand side vertical ruler. You would open the page setup dialog box with this command. Either you can do this or you can click on this option, which is dialog box launcher. These columns, breaks, lines, hyphenation we would be doing when we move ahead. I would not be explaining you this right now. I will be explaining every of these bits as and when we come to that section. Now, just let me take you through all the options available under the Home tab. Under Home tab, the first thing is clipboard. In this, you can see paste, format painter, cut, copy. Cut command is used to copy a text or an image or an object, delete it simultaneously. Paste, we have copied something and then we can paste it. Copy, just you want to copy but not delete the selected content. I request and urge all of you to remember certain shortcuts while using any of the applications. For example, the shortcut for copying is Ctrl C. In case if you do not remember, you can just get your cursor above any of these options. You could see in that white small help box appearing. Within brackets, Ctrl plus C. Ctrl plus C means we are using a combination of two buttons, which is Ctrl and C. For cut, it is Ctrl X. For paste, Ctrl V. And for format painter, you can use combination of Ctrl Shift C or Ctrl Shift and V. Under the font category, you can see this, where you can change the font style. This drop down, the size of the font, bold, italics, underline. The shortcut for bold is Ctrl B, Ctrl I for italics, Ctrl U to give underline to a text. For example, I am typing my name here. I will zoom it so that it is easy to view. I select the text. I go to Home tab, Font grouping, and I click on the drop down, and you will see a list of fonts. If you are using Microsoft Word for the first time, you would see this portion will not appear because you haven't used any of the fonts recently. You would be seeing all fonts list here. So I suppose select a font called a Century Gothic. I keep it here. I want to increase and decrease the font size. I come here. Let's come here. You can increase or decrease the font size from here. Next, you want to make it bold. I can either click on this button Ctrl B, or I can just simply press Ctrl and B. I press again Ctrl B, or I click here, it will remove bold. Italics, click and remove Underline, click, or Control U will remove. You want to increase size, you can see these options. Click here, it would increase. Click here, it would decrease. Right now, the name is written where the first alphabets are capital of each word. This type of style is called as title case, which means these are capital and the remaining are small cases. Capital, remaining are small cases. Capital, remaining are small cases. I want to change all the letters as capital. I shouldn't type it again. What can I do is that? We have an option called as changing the case of the text. So when all the letters are capital, it is called as upper case. How would I do it? Under Home tab, within font grouping, I go to this option called as change case. I click on the drop down. You can see these options. I want all of them to be uppercase. Click on uppercase. All of them become capital. I come here. I want sentence case, which means only the first alphabet of the sentence is capital. All of them small, lowercase. All of them capitalize each word, only M, O, K capital. Then we have something called as toggle case. You might be wondering, why do we need these cases? For example, if I am typing my name and I want to type M capital O H D small, and by mistake, without even realizing, my caps lock button is switched on. Caps lock means whenever I type an alphabet, it will take them as capital letters. So I don't remember or don't realize that my caps lock key is on and I type M as capital. So I would be pressing shift button and M. So when I press shift and M with my caps lock on, my M would be small. Without shift, caps lock on, these are capital. If I want to change this into a normal case, what would I do? I come here, I select this, I come here and I click on toggle. It would change it. So I don't need to type the same thing again. Just changes the way it looks. Now if I come here, I'll just tell you one more thing. If I type MOHT in this way, correct? And if I press space bar now, the word will do some change. Please look here. I am pressing space bar now. It is converting that into a proper type. This is happening because of an option called as autocorrect. If you remember in the agenda, I've told you autocorrect. Now, I would not be doing autocorrect right now. I'll just simply tell you why this is happening. If you want to avoid this, what can we do? But we typically don't avoid. We want the application to do autocorrection. What we do is that we go to File tab on the top left hand side of your screen. We click on File tab. We then go to the backstage. This is called the backstage of the application. And then I click on Options. When I click on Options, it takes me to a dialog box. In this dialog box, I would be going to something called as proofing on the left hand side. I repeat again, I cancel this. How do we go there? I click on File, then I click on Options. Then I go to Proofing tab here. When I click on Proofing tab, on the right hand side, you can see autocorrect options. Change how Word corrects and formats text as you type. So it is autocorrect options. Click on autocorrect options. You can see this correct accidental usage of caps lock key. If I uncheck this right now, I click OK, I click again OK. And if I type right now MOHD, sorry, I'll just switch on my caps lock again. MOHD. If I press space bar, it will not change. Just keeping everything capital. So I go to file now. I again go to options, proofing. I just go to autocorrect and I click this. And I click OK and just switching off right now. I hope everything is clear till now. I just select all and I delete it. So this was about my cases, uppercase, lowercase. The other way of changing the cases is I click, suppose I want to change the case of this name. By not using this, we can use a shortcut Shift plus function 3 button. There are function buttons in your keyboard, F1, F2, F3 till 12, function 1, function 2, the top row of your keyboard. So I click here and I press a combination of shift button with function 3 button. See, I am changing the cases. So you can change the cases with the help of shortcut command, or you can simply go here and just change the cases whichever you need. I just go to file, I go to options, I go to proofing, I go to autocorrect options. I had used this option just to change it. And I press cancel. Now cancel, I go back here. You remember if I had gone to layout, I had gone to page setup, I checked here. The margin for this is 1 inches. So these are what in terms of inches. Suppose I want to change the units. I don't want inches, I want centimeters. What I can do, I go to file tab, I go to options, and within this I go to display, sorry, I go to advanced option, advanced, and I scroll down here, scroll down somewhere, and within this display heading, to scroll down, show measurements in units of what inches, centimeters, and millimeters, points and picas. For documentation purpose, we use inches, centimeters, or millimeters. So if I change it to centimeters, I click OK. I go to page setup, you will see it is appearing in centimeter. I just come back and I change it to inches just to make it by default. There's no harm in that. You can always change the units to whatever we need. Okay. Now I just scroll it out, zoom out. I go to my home tab. I select my text. I type my text, my name. I select all of them. I said we need to increase the point size. We can increase by here. We can also do the same thing by clicking on the dialog box launcher. You can see this appearing here. You can change everything from here, regular, italic, bold, whatever you want. You want to change the point size here, you can change it from here. You want to give it underline, you can give it from here. Underline, the type of underline you want to give, you can do it from here. Same thing which is appearing here can be done from here. Just click on cancel. I want to change the color of the text. This is for font color and this is for text highlight. If I click on this, you will see the color of the text is changing. But if you select on this, you will see it is highlighting the color. We use a normal manual highlighter when we read something. This is the same thing. It is equivalent to the manual highlighter. You want to remove this, come here, come back, no color. Select this, come here and no, click on automatic, which will be black in color. I again select this just to give a type of style to this. But I'll just view it. You come here, just giving a style. So whenever you want to give any of styles to your text, you can give it from here. As we move ahead, we will be looking at any of these multiple options. But for time being, we will not be doing that. I'm just telling you options because when we move ahead and do formatting, you remember we can do formatting from where. This is to give a normal cut mark to it, which is called a strike through. I select this word, I remove this. You can see these small icons. This is called a subscript and superscript. Suppose we want to write something as raised to, we can use this. This is for the purpose of superscript. This is not changing the font size. This is baseline subscript. Click on this, will uncheck it. Now we move on to paragraph option where you can see the alignment. Today in this video right now, I would just be telling you different types of alignments. In my next video, I would be explaining you in detail the types of alignment, what we can do and how to work paragraphs. By default is left alignment. This is center of the page. Zoom out, you can see. Right alignment, justified. This justify you can see right now because we are not using whole paragraph. It is just a normal text. But be rest assured, I would be doing everything in detail with you. I hope everything is clear right now. I would stop this video right now. In my next video, I would be covering paragraphs and plus how to move around in a document with the help of your keyboard and with the help of your mouse. I repeat again, in case of any doubt, any problem, any issues, please send me an email on my email ID. I would be happy to help all of you. Do take care, be home, be safe. God bless you, and thank you.